famous French paper that has spent decades savaging footballers, handed him its rarest and lowest score, a 1 out of 10. Their entire verdict was 4 words long. He got almost everything wrong. On paper, this was a round of 16 tie, a World Cup favorite against a plucky South American side that had already dumped Germany out on penalties. In reality, it was closer to a street fight with a whistle occasionally blowing in the background. And the man holding that whistle spent 90 minutes doing an impression of a bystander who wandered onto the pitch by accident. His name is Ilgiz Tantashev. He is from Uzbekistan. He has been a FIFA-listed official for 13 years, which means he has had 13 years to learn what a yellow card is for. And on Saturday, in front of the entire watching world, he decided he would rather not use them. Not on the team that needed them. Let me give you the one number that tells this entire story. Paraguay committed somewhere between 12 and 13 fouls, several of them the kind that make you wince, plus a small pile of off-the-ball shoves the referee didn't even bother to whistle. The number of yellow cards they received across the full 90 minutes was 0. 0. Now hold that in your head, because here's the part that tips it from incompetent into almost artistic. France got booked 3 times. Manu Kone, Bradley Barcola, Michael Olise, all cautioned. So it isn't that Tantashev forgot his cards in the tunnel. He had them. He knew where they were. He just kept them exclusively for the team on the receiving end of the beating. Read that back slowly. The side throwing elbows walked away spotless. The side getting elbowed picked up 3 yellows. That is not weak refereeing. That is refereeing turned completely upside down. And let's actually catalog what he let slide, because dark arts is a polite phrase and this deserves specifics. Andres Cubas went straight through Adrien Rabiot with a tackle that had nothing to do with the ball. Nothing. Juan José Caceres kicked out at Kylian Mbappé after losing possession, a petty little swipe of the boot. Matias Galarza stuck his hand directly into Jules Koundé's face, then later that same afternoon threw an arm at Mbappé while the Frenchman was running clean towards goal. And in maybe the most flagrant one, Gabriel Avalos dropped an elbow into the stomach of Dayot Upamecano while Paraguay were chasing the game. An elbow to the ribs on a World Cup stage. And the referee's response to all of it was the same. A shrug. Play on. 0. Even Galarza's cynicism got rewarded. Because when Michael Olise tugged his shirt, Galarza flung himself to the ground trying to win Olise a booking. And it worked. The diver got the free kick. The victim got the yellow. Tantashev bought it every single time from one side and never once from the other. The pundits didn't dress it up. Joe Hart, the former England goalkeeper, watching on the BBC, said Paraguay's players were an absolute disgrace, and added that if they were on his team, he'd be dragging them off the pitch himself. Micah Richards called it embarrassing to see, and pointed out the maddening thing, which is that Paraguay were genuinely a good defensive unit, and didn't need any of this. And Thomas Hitzelsperger, the former Germany midfielder, went furthest of all, saying that as a neutral, you could have no respect for them, and that it went past disgraceful into something worse. When 3 separate professionals in a studio are reaching for the thesaurus to describe how ugly a match was, you know it wasn't just spice, it was rotten. Now let's take it seriously for a second, because this channel doesn't do lazy outrage, and there is a fair counter to make. Paraguay were not there to entertain you. They came into this game with a plan, and the plan was simple. Sit deep, pack the box with a 5-back, frustrate the favorites, drag it to extra time and penalties, and try to repeat the miracle they pulled against Germany. And for long stretches, it nearly worked. It took France more than 20 minutes to muster a shot. France didn't hit the target until the 55th minute. Orlando Gil, Paraguay's goalkeeper and their hero against Germany, made save after save and produced a genuinely brilliant double stop in stoppage time to deny Mbappe again. Defensively, they were organized, disciplined, and hard to break down. If they'd done that and left the elbows at home, they'd have gone home with dignity. The tragedy of Paraguay is that they were good enough not to need the fouling, and they did it anyway. But here's the thing, even granting all of that, even granting that every team is allowed to play its own way, none of it excuses the man in the middle. A referee's entire job is to set a line and hold it. Compare it to the Canada versus Morocco game earlier that same day, where Michael Oliver flashed 6 yellow cards before halftime, stamped his authority on it early, and the match calmed right down and behaved itself in the second half. That is what control looks like. Tantashev did the exact opposite. He let the temperature rise, let the fouls stack up, let the players sense there were no consequences, and by the end, there were scuffles, insults flying from the bench, and Gustavo Velasquez trying to confront France players after the final whistle. A game gets like that because a referee let it get like that. And here's a detail that should bother you even more. The official foul count came out at 13 for Paraguay and 11 for France, which almost makes it sound like a balanced, evenly matched physical contest. It wasn't. That number is a lie of omission, because the referee missed a mountain of Paraguay fouls entirely. The tactical little trips and the off-the-ball shoves that never made it into the count at all. So the true gap was far wider than 2. And even on the fouls, he did somehow notice only one team ever paid for them. The stats sheet flattered him. The eye test buried him. And the moment that actually decided the match tells you everything about him too. In the second half, substitute Desire Du went on a run, beat one man, beat 2, and was chopped down in the box by Diego Gomez. Clear penalty? Tantashev waved it away. Gave nothing. It took the VAR, the video assistant, to drag him over to the monitor and effectively make the decision for him. And then, even after he'd finally pointed to the spot, Paraguay's players crowded him to delay it while Velasquez scuffed up the penalty spot with his boot, and Tantashev had to rebuild the spot before Mbappe could even take it. Mbappe sent Gil the wrong way, and France had their winner. France advanced on a penalty their own referee didn't want to give. That penalty was Mbappe's 7th goal of the tournament, pulling him level with Lionel Messi in the Golden Boot race and taking him to 19 goals in 19 World Cup appearances, one behind Messi on the all-time list. And in a way, it summed up his day because Mbappe got kicked, elbowed, hacked, and provoked from the first minute, and mostly just laughed at it. His line afterwards was perfect. He said Paraguay thought France would show up in tuxedos, and that France knew how to play dirty too. Deschamps, for his part, refused to criticize anyone, said there'd been insults from the other bench, and admitted he told his 2 biggest players to physically stand around Mbappe at the end because he was afraid they'd chop him down. Oh, and all of